Hi friends, this is Dainty Tank. Thank you for joining me. Welcome back to Please Be Happy. This is part 16, I think, in the series. 16 or 17, somewhere in there. Folks that are in the Empire Card area see where we last left off, but I can talk about it because I am still emotionally devastated because we passed 24 hours and there seems to be a problem. And I am pumped to get back into this. Also, I just realized that the symbol on the little dangly thing from Miho is actually the bookmark. I love that.
How far did we get last time?
It's a great question because it was the start of chapter 4. Matters of the Heart. Whew. It's twice now that I've lost someone dear to me. Although Aspen is still alive, I see her every day. Her loss feels even more painful than Janine's. It's been a few days since Aspen lost her memories of me. Hi! Is it time? Did you hear me recording? I have a very precious cat. He is a sweetheart. He is 12. This is Pixel. Okay, bye. He is a cuddle monster, and he wants to know that I love him at all times, and he is a great cat. And unfortunately, he does have cancer, so we're having treatments for cancer, and hopefully he's going to do well with those treatments, and he's doing well so far. So good news. He's gaining weight. Go Pixel, gain weight. Anyways, not to distract. Sad things. It's been a few days since Aspen's lost her memories of me. She's been here like usual every day since then, and we both try to pretend that nothing ever happened. But everyone, including Juliet, knows that it'll never be the same. When Aspen and I talk, I can tell whenever I mention something that she can't remember, it stings all over again. Even when she's sitting right beside me, Aspen seems further away than ever. I doubt she remembers what she said to me before leaving. She hasn't mentioned it at all. And so, neither do I. Not needing to have that difficult conversation was a relief, but not nearly enough to make up for losing everything else. If I can pick one or the other, I'd choose the conversation over Aspen forgetting me every time. I'm sitting in the kitchen in my usual spot, next to where Aspen sits at breakfast, when my ears pick up at Juliet's approach. Although she can walk without making a sound, even better than I can, she's developed some sort of sixth sense for detecting her.
You're up early.
I don't look up from the cup of cold tea that my hands are wrapped around, although it's been at least an hour since I last took a sip.
I think it's later than you imagine. Just past 8.
Oops. I must have lost track of time.
I sat down here after closing the library for the day, just intending to collect my thoughts for a couple of minutes. Guess it turned out to be more than a couple. Taking a seat across from me, Juliet also has a cup of tea. Hers is still fresh and warm and steaming.
It's understandable. You surely have a lot on your mind. Anything you'd like to talk about?
You already know everything.
Not quite everything. How do you feel?
Rough. This is tough. I stare into the mug, aware that Juliet's looking at me. For some reason, I don't have the strength to meet her eyes.
Sad. Even though I know I shouldn't be.
You're allowed to feel what you feel. Like, you're allowed to be sad over the loss of information and shared experiences. Yeah, that's hard.
Oh heavens, why ever would you think that?
because I knew this was gonna happen someday, sooner or later. It just turned out to be sooner.
What do you mean?
Shrugging, I finally look up. Worry creases Juliet's face, and so I stare at the wall just behind her. Don't want to see someone else feeling bad on my behalf right now.
I mean, it was always going to happen. Aspen was always going to forget me someday. There's no way I could see her every day for the rest of her life, right? That's the other thing, too. She's a human, so eventually she'll...
I trail off, not wanting to say the words out loud and knowing that Juliet will get what I mean. Sure enough, she nods sagely.
She will.
Death used to be such a distinct concept for me. Just a boogeyman to be afraid of, but not worry about too much on a daily basis. And now it's become all too real in the case of Jonin. Now, when it comes to Aspen, it's hard to not think about it. How that would be her fate, too, someday, you know? It's very hard. It's fair to have these feelings, but you shouldn't mourn. As Jack said, my partner, said actually specifically when I was very sad over Pixel having cancer, don't mourn him while he's still here. Enjoy every moment he's here. Don't mourn the time in which you're going to not have Aspen. Enjoy the time you do. Even if she hadn't forgotten me, no matter what I might have said in response to her confession, the eventual end will be the same. I can't help but picture Juliet's own pain and anguish at Cosette's grave, even all these years after she passed away.
So if it was gonna happen anyway, then what's the point? Why bother? I'm just going to get hurt again and again. Someday, even you'll also...
Forever is just as difficult with someone else who's immortal, maybe even harder. No matter how many years may pass, it'll still only take one day for everything to be undone.
Oh, Miho.
She reaches across the table and lays her hand on top of mine, still clutching tightly to my drink. Her fingers are soft and cool, but they look awkward against mine, like she doesn't know what to do with them. I don't know what to do with them either.
I wish I could tell you otherwise. But you're right that some kind of pain is inevitable when it comes to those we love. That's the trade-off for the joy they bring to us while they're with us. The pain exists because we had something to lose. Despite the heartache, I wouldn't trade my time with Cosette for anything.
It's different for me, though. Because I can lose the same person over and over. What about the next time Aspen forgets me? Or if there's a time after that? Maybe it's better to just...
I shake my head and cut myself off, because I know I really will start crying if I do go much further. Although Aspen and I have already been rebuilding our friendship, part of me wonders if it's worth it. Do I really want to make myself go through it all again? I know the answer is yes. I'm already doing it, but it's tough to justify to myself. Sighing deeply, I wrap my fingers around from the cup, sliding my hand out from beneath Juliet's as well. I study her hand, still on the table. Despite her age, her skin remains perfect and unblemished. All her scars must be on the inside instead.
Thanks for listening to me. And sorry for being such a bummer. I'll be back to normal in a day or two.
There's no need to apologize. I can only imagine how you must feel. Take all the time that you need. You don't have to force yourself.
Yeah, I know. but thinking about it just makes me feel worse. Besides, Aspen and I are still friends. Or I guess, friends again. I can't change what happened, so I may as well just do the best I can now.
That's true. Still, don't ever hesitate if you need someone to talk to, or a shoulder to cry on.
Thanks. I do feel a bit better. I think I'm gonna call it a night, though.
Sleep well, Miho. I'll see you tomorrow.
I'm sure she can tell that I don't entirely mean it when I say I feel better. Still, she does me the courtesy of not pretending. Does me the courtesy of pretending.
Night.
In a backwards twist of the usual, I head upstairs to my room and leave Juliet behind in the kitchen. As I climb the stairs, I get a glimpse of her, still seated at the dining room table across from the cup I forgot to put away. Somehow, it feels weird to see her there alone. In my room, I wrap my blanket around myself and lie down. It's earlier than I usually go to bed, but late enough that it's pretty dark outside. I'm sure I'll be able to fall asleep. Although the day is ending for me, it's just beginning for Juliet. Wonder what she'll do with it. Maybe she's still down at the table, sitting by herself. Isn't that lonely? Then again, I guess she's probably used to it. I'm still new to this whole loneliness thing, but she's pretty much an expert by now. It's kind of sad when you think about it. As I'm laying there, I hear the sound of the front door opening and closing. Sitting up, I look out the window to see Juliet standing near the porch. Something flaps past my window, and I move closer to see a bat descending towards Juliet. At first, I assume it's one of her friends. The ones who hang in the corner of her study or get fed in the kitchen. But to my shock, the bat changes forms, soon becoming a tall man.
Another vampire.
Oh. It's too dark and far away for me to see or hear anything, but I can tell they're having a conversation. I'm tempted to open my window, but I'm sure the noise would catch their attention. The two of them only talk for a couple minutes, and then the other vampire turns back into a bat. I quickly lie down and pretend to be asleep as he passes by, just a couple seconds later. When I sit back up and peer outside again, Juliet's nowhere to be seen. Before long, I start to get tired and crawl under the covers for real. Although I listen for the sound of the front door again, I never hear it, and eventually, I fall asleep. Intrigue! Another vampire in town. Mad vampire. Okay. Even though things have changed so much, the morning routine is more or less the same. The three of us chit-chat and our lives and mundane things until we finish eating. After pushing her empty plate away, Aspen leans in.
So, Miho, there's something I've been thinking about.
Okay.
And I understand if this is something you wouldn't even want to consider, but have you ever thought about finding a way to stop your magic?
Juliet also turns to look at me, putting me on the spot.
Not that I can remember. That's like asking if you've thought about finding a way to stop your nose from working.
I see. I thought that might be the case.
I'm not sure if I've ever heard of such a thing either. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
I was just thinking about the other day and about how dreadful it all was to go through. Of course, I don't want to speak for Miho. I know it's much more complicated than just that.
I mean, yeah, kind of bit. Also, if the magic stopped, what says that Miho would stay in the human form? Miho might be trapped as a fox.
But I thought I might bring up the idea, at least.
You've got a point. Not having to worry about people forgetting me would be a huge relief.
It would be, but still, the whole, trapped as a fox thing, right? Because Miho's original form is fox.
Right. I thought you might agree.
I look at Juliet, expecting her to give an opinion, but she doesn't offer one. It's true that life would be a lot easier without my magic. Well, half true. This life would be easier, but the life I used to lead? I could have survived without it.
Well, it's purely hypothetical right now anyway. For all we know, it might be impossible. So no need to think about it too much.
Yeah?
It's worth thinking about, though.
The only two people who actually remember me are in this room right now. All the other people I've met in Welly, I couldn't really call them my friends, as much as I've liked spending time with them. Every time we see each other is the first time as far as they're concerned. Maybe that wasn't so bad when I was still on the fence about whether I'd even stay in town or not. But now that I've been here a while, long enough to build something worth missing, I wish I could make those connections into something more secure. Even if it's nothing I can do about my magic, I can at least try to figure out a way to maintain friendships with others too. Not just Aspen and Juliet.
It couldn't hurt to find out, right? It's not like I have to go through with it or anything if I don't want to.
Exactly. Simply being informed is never a bad idea.
So, does that mean you have an idea?
Well, not quite. But I'd be happy to start doing some research on the topic.
I haven't thought about it, no. I just wanted to run it past you before I researched the fuck out of it.
If we're going to find anything, it's likely to be in a book. And if there's one thing I'm good at, it's reading.
That's true.
Good luck with that. Let me know what I can do to help.
I'd be glad to lend a hand as well. Perhaps I could find someone who'd be knowledgeable about Gumiho. Myth and folklore are often at odds with reality, so it can be difficult to discern what's true and what isn't.
Someone who'd know about Gumiho, huh?
One person comes to mind, a silver someone, but I'm not sure how willing she'd be to help. I still haven't mentioned the other Gumiho I met to Aspen and Juliet. In my head, started calling her Silver. Oh, that makes sense. Silver? I was just joking that she was Silver. Yeah, Silver someone. Silver. Yeah. It just feels wrong somehow. If someone had told other people when I was around, I would have been furious with them. I would have made hiding and stealing a whole lot harder too. So as a fellow Gumiho, I've kept Silver's existence a secret from everyone else so far. For all I know, there could be more than just Silver. There could be a whole community of Gumiho here in Wellington. Not Wilmington. Wellington. And I have no idea. I don't know that's the case, though. Besides, Silver seems unhappy enough with one intruder on her territory as it is, let alone a vampire and a nosy, adorable little rider. Maybe that's something else I could ask her. I don't know when or where, but somehow I know I haven't seen the last of her. For now, I just sit back and listen as Aspen and Juliet discuss various books and theories to start with. I feel like I should be more involved. It's like magic after all, but this is one area where I can't really contribute. Can't stay out of it forever, and I let them take care of me again, though. I have to try something on my own, too. I can't just refuse to participate in my own future. As it gets closer to time for Aspen to leave, Juliet checks the clock and then stands up.
Off to bed?
Not yet, actually. Would you mind staying just a moment longer, Aspen? I have something I'd like to give Miho. It's somewhat related to what we were just talking about.
Oh, no, I don't mind.
For me? What is it?
You'll see. I'll be right back.
Okay. Deus Ex Machina. Disappearing upstairs, I hear Juliet enter her study for a moment before returning with a small, nicely wrapped box.
There's no particular occasion, but still, I felt like wrapping it.
Juliet hands me the package, which I take carefully. It's not heavy, but it's not light either. I turn it over and over, examining. I've never had a gift before. Clearing her throat, Aspen seems a bit impatient.
Don't just keep us in suspense.
Okay.
I tear off the paper that Juliet so beautifully wrapped the package with, revealing...
Oh, wow.
It's a phone. One that I recognize.
It's the same as Aspen's.
What a coincidence, right?
I consulted Aspen to make sure I got the same one. I thought it would be best if she can help show you how to use it. I'm a little behind the times on things like devices.
Oh. As gently as I can, I open the box and take out the phone itself. It's sleek and shiny and cold to the touch. Hold it in both my hands to make sure I don't drop it.
Thank you. Really. This is the nicest thing I've ever owned.
Think nothing of it. As you have more loved ones and responsibilities, it's important that you be able to stay in touch. In fact, that was what gave me the idea in the first place. Like Aspen, I'd also been thinking about your magic and the ways that it might work. So I wonder, would seeing someone in a video call serve to refresh someone's memory of you? Or is it necessary to see each other in person?
It's a great question.
That's a good question. I don't know.
I can't believe I never thought to ask that before.
Neither Aspen nor I would want to gamble our memories of Miho, in case it turns out not to work. So we need to find someone else to participate in our little experiment. With that in mind, I'm not sure who to ask. It's a harmless trial, but still a bit much to ask of a total stranger.
Lena.
Someone willing to try something weird without hesitation. I'll text Lena.
There we go. You've got someone directly on speed dial. While Aspen does that, I stare at the device in my hands. Could something so small really solve so many of my problems? It wouldn't be a perfect solution, but it would be a lot better than nothing if this works. Even if not, I won't let change my earlier decision to find some way to be remembered by people I've met. It's just like researching my magic. I can't leave everything to everyone else, or hope for an easy way out.
All right, Lena says she's willing to give it a go. I told her I'd explain more when I saw her. Usually you'd think those would happen in the other order, but this is Lena we're talking about.
Miho, would you like to come down to the Bell House to see her with me now?
Sure.
Sure. As long as Juliet doesn't mind me leaving the library.
By all means. I'm eager to see if this works as well.
So it's settled then. Shall we be off, Miho?
Lena's waiting for us outside the Bell House when we arrive.
Morning, boss.
Hey, Lena.
So, you're the person with the weird memory thing, right?
Yep, that's me.
I've already introduced myself to Lena more times than I can count. Still, what's one more? This will be a great start to my new goal of making sure that other people I've gotten to know don't keep forgetting me.
I'm Miho. We've met before, actually. At tennis and at the Bell House and a few other times, too.
Ah, okay. Makes sense to me. So how do we do this?
Really? That's it?
Lena has no problems. Yeah, makes sense. I've forgotten you, like, tons of times. Cool, let's do this.
What you mean?
I would have thought you'd take more convincing than that.
Nope, I'm good.
I guess I'm not surprised, but...
Nah, it lines up. I remember doing all those things that Miho mentioned, but I couldn't think of who I was with. Now I can stop trying to remember that and devote that brain power to something else.
Yes, well, I'm sure you'll need it. So, let's see.
Sure you'll need it. Good luck with all that brain power.
I just need to get Miho's number, right? And then video call her tonight?
Right. Any time should be fine as long as it's before this time tomorrow. Miho can come with me again in the morning, and we'll see if you know who she is.
You got it! I'll try extra hard to remember her.
I'm not sure it works like that, unfortunately. I wish it were that simple.
Maybe it is, and you just didn't try hard enough.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is just a call. Maybe it is just a little, like, Zoom time. Placing a finger on her temple, Lena closes her eyes and hums deeply.
Does that help?
Shh, don't interrupt.
Yes, that. Lena hums a little longer and then opens her eyes with a wink and a thumbs up. Cool.
Okay, got it.
Yes! It's here. It's in my brain palace.
Of course it helps. It's my secret technique.
Secret technique.
Whoa! If it works, then maybe you can teach Aspen too.
Aspen, you gotta do this.
I think I'm all right, actually.
No, you're not. You haven't tried Lena's technique.
But what if it's really useful?
That's a very big if.
Oh, whatever. You'll see tomorrow when I remember all of this. Anyway, Miho, what's your number?
It's,
I pull out the phone Julia gave me, inspecting it closely.
I'm not sure where it is.
Shouldn't it be written somewhere? I look around the edges trying to find anything that seems fitting.
Let's do this instead. Miho, may I see your phone?
I hand the device to Aspen, who swipes one finger up and begins to quickly tap through the screens.
Whoa, you're a pro at this. Juliet's a lot slower whenever she uses hers.
I'm not sure that Juliet's the right standard. She still prefers a landline when she can.
Landline?
Okay, here. I saved Lena's number for you, Miho. Now you can call her so she can save your number.
Right. Okay, let's see.
Taking my phone back, I try to remember how to do that. Lena comes and watches from behind Aspen.
New phone?
Moving away, Aspen brushes imaginary dirt off her shoulder.
You're in my bubble.
Aspen has a bubble. I see your bubble. Pop.
That's the same kind Aspen has, right?
Yup, this is the first phone I've owned.
Wow, really? So then how do you check Triller or Space Face?
Space face. Space face. Oh my god. Twitter and Facebook.
What are those?
Stumbling backwards, Lena seems like she's at a loss for words, which might be a first for her. I guess she does have something in common with Aspen.
Wow, you really do have a lot of catching up to do. I'll help you get set up when I call you. It's like you can't not have a Triller, even though it's terrible, I hate it, but you have to have it. Space Phase, I don't know about. Everyone
Yeah, Twitter's horrible. Don't go there. It's now ruined since this game came out. Don't touch that thing. Mastodon is much better. It's decentralized, so a lot better for the new kind of Web3 structure.
Okay, I think that's enough, Lena.
And don't go to Facebook.
Oh, you never let me finish talking!
You never would finish talking if I didn't stop you.
That's not true!
For a second, Lena seems pretty serious, but then she thinks about it for a second.
Well, maybe a little. But just a little. Anyway, it's fine. I'll tell Miho when I talk to her tonight. See you guys later!
I'm going to be in there with you in like 2 minutes.
That's later, isn't it?
That is later. You're right. Lena flaps her wings proudly as she walks into the Bell house.
You let her win, huh?
Sometimes it's better to just let her go. But I'm glad she said she'd help out. She's a mess, but she sticks to her word at least.
You two seem pretty close.
Do we?
Oh,
We
that's a
started
blush.
working here at the same time, so we spent a lot of time together.
Oh, that's a blush there.
You've spent more time with her outside the Bell house than I have, though. She can be a lot, but she comes through when it matters. Like with this.
I knew before messaging her that she'd be willing to help out. It's just how she is.
Aw.
Don't you dare tell her I said that, though.
Don't you dare tell her. Take that thing back where you came from, or she'll help me. Stepping towards the Bell house door, Aspen turns to say goodbye to me.
Well then. See you later, Miho.
Yep.
Yeah. Bye, Aspen.
Aspen walks inside the Bell house as I wave goodbye, and then I head off. It's almost bedtime when my phone finally buzzes, startling me and almost making me drop my phone on my face. Lena's name pops up and I tap what I hope is the right button.
Hello? Miho? Can you hear me? It's Lena.
Hello, Lena! Her face fills the screen, making it pretty easy to see who it is. Oh, that's new. Do you have like a new outfit? Did you get like pajamas? I wiggle the phone around, trying to make it point at my face. Problem is, it's reversed, so I keep confusing myself. How much does Aspen use this thing so much?
Hi! I see you. Can you see me?
Yep. Hi.
She waves at the camera with her free hand. I have to sit up to do the same thing.
Thanks for calling. This is gonna be a big help.
No, yeah, no problem. Sorry I've forgotten you so many times. I know I'd be totally upset if people couldn't remember who I was.
Aww.
It's like, hello? How can you forget me?
I love you, Lena. I love Lena so much. It's so pure.
Well, it's alright. I'm pretty used to it by now.
Yeah, but still, it's gotta suck. I've got an idea, though. I'll just call you like this every night, and that way I won't forget you, right? If this works out, I mean.
Yeah. If it works. I really, really hope it does. Still, every night...
Even if the phone makes it a lot easier, that's a lot of phone calls to make. Forever. Funny how that word keeps getting in the way.
Yeah, it's no big deal, though. I mean, I'm always on my phone before I go to bed anyway, so I can just make calling you part of my routine, like brushing my teeth and stretching.
Aww. So wholesome. Like, totally. I'll fit you in between my, evening brush and my, evening stretch.
Ever since I quit ballet, I have more free time, so I can fit it in.
Aww. You haven't told me why you quit.
That way I won't forget to do it. That would be kind of funny if I did, though. Not like funny, but funny like ironic. I think that's how you use that word. Aspen always tells me I'm wrong, though. Actually, speaking of Aspen...
Speaking of Aspen, Lena goes on to tell me a story about work today, which turns into a story from work the day before. She goes on like that for a while. I try to smile and laugh when it seems appropriate, but my arm is starting to get sore from holding out my phone like this. Finally, she runs out of steam and yawns, stretching into sleepy mode in seconds.
Anyway, I just thought that was funny. I'm gonna go to bed now. I'm super tired. You're coming to the Bell House in the morning, right?
Yup. I'll be there with Aspen.
Okay, see you soon then. I hope. Well, I'll see you either way, but I hope I remember you. Sorry if I don't.
Sorry if I don't. I tried.
That's fine. Thanks for trying. Good night.
Try to figure out how to hang up my phone, hovering over the screen like it's gonna squash a bug. Fortunately, Lena does it first, and that ends the call for both of us. I lie back down with my phone in my hand. It isn't heavy, but it's definitely a big deal. If this works out with Lena, tomorrow could change everything for me. Again. I'm not sure if Lena really thought about what she was getting into when she said she'd call me every day. Same goes for Aspen and Juliet, of course. I'm sure all of them mean it when they promise, but those are really hard promises to keep. No matter who's making them, even though they're all willing to go through so much for me. Odds are, at some point, at least one of them will eventually miss a day, and that'll be that. No second chances. Even if we started over, it would never be exactly the same. With my other hand, the one that isn't holding the phone, I reach up and grab my necklace, feeling the warmth of my bead. It's been a big pain lately, but for such a long time, my magic was my most useful tool, my secret weapon. As much hiding and scavenging as I did before, it would have been 10 times worse if any of my crimes had followed me. Are those days really past me now? Permanently? Aspen's idea about stopping my magic is interesting, and I can't get it out of my head. Being able to be remembered by everyone I care about is the number one thing I can ask for right now. But will it always be this way? Say there was a way that I could change things and make it so people didn't forget me. What if it wasn't possible for me to change my mind later? Sure, it sounds nice at the moment, but forever is a long time. I keep being reminded of that. Tuck my necklace up so that I can see the bead. It still has a soft white glow into it. I wish I knew what it meant. I wish I knew what any of it meant and how it worked. I wish I didn't have to deal with these questions and problems. Of all the forms that for my magic to take, had to be this confusing one. Gripping my bead in my fist, I yank my necklace off my neck and hurl it away from me. It clatters and rattles as it hits the wall and then the floor, laying like a snake in the darkness. Closing my eyes, I silently count in my head. 1, 2. There's no flicker or pop as my necklace reappears around my neck, as if it never... There's no flicker or pop as my necklace reappears around my neck, as if it had never left. My bead hasn't changed at all. Not that I expected it to. Sighing, I roll over onto my side, not tired enough to sleep, but not feeling like doing much else either. Okay, so even if she rips it off, it's not something that, like, it pops back into existence around her neck. Interesting. This necklace has felt like a lot of things before. A comfort, a memento, a guide. It's been my one constant since the beginning. Right now, heavy against my pillow, it feels like an anchor. Like always, the next morning, I'm cheered up by seeing my friends. After a quick breakfast, Aspen spreads out some sheets of paper on the table, and Julia and I both crowd in to see.
So I started doing some research on Gumiho. I found plenty of information that I thought was interesting, but I'm not sure how much of it will be useful.
Interesting.
Hey, that does sound just like me.
Oh, don't say that.
I'm just kidding.
Good. As I was saying, it's hard to figure out what's accurate and what isn't. A lot of the specific details would have had to come from the Gumiho themselves, and as far as I can tell, none of them are talking. I couldn't find anything about memory or forgetting. Maybe it's self-explanatory, why not? Beyond that, most of what seemed accurate were things that we already knew, like being able to change into a fox. Have you had any luck, Juliet?
I'm afraid not. I checked what books I could think of, and none of them yielded any more than you said. I'm not aware of anyone else around who might be helpful either, unfortunately.
We know someone.
Of course, it's only been a couple of days so far. I'll keep looking. We're bound to learn something eventually.
I'll keep looking too. There was one other thing that came up I thought might be worth mentioning.
Oh?
I read a lot about Gumiho carrying a special bead that has something to do with their magic. You have one of those yourself, right?
It's my necklace. I removed my necklace more gently than last night and hold it out for them to see.
Yeah, I've had it my whole life.
May I see it?
You can try.
I pass it to her and Aspen handles it delicately. I was about to say it's off her neck for the first time since we've seen it.
Pardon? What do you mean?
It poofs out of her hand and back around my neck.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I couldn't get rid of it, even if I wanted to.
Am I wrong? Or is it glowing?
Yeah, that part's new. I was in bed when I noticed it a couple days ago. I know it's important, but not how or why.
Your wild instincts inform you.
Juliet says it so matter-of-factly, not like there's something bad or that I should have gotten rid of. There's still part of me. My other self, no, the other part of me hasn't gone away, even as I've spent more time away from it. When I first came to Wellington, I still thought of myself as a fox. Now, I'm not sure how I see myself. But my bead and its mysteries are a reminder that I'm something different.
Well, that sounds promising. It means something is happening, even if we're not sure what. Let us know if you notice it changing in any other ways, Miho. The more knowledge we have, the better.
Yeah, I will.
Once again, I think of Silver and her bead, which shone much more than mine. Will mine look like that someday? I wonder what it took to make hers glow so brightly. Maybe even Silver doesn't know how the bead works. If it was instinctual, then shouldn't I understand too? I guess I just have to ask sometime. I wrap my necklace back around my neck, popping the magnetic clasp together.
One way or another, we'll soon know more about Miho's magic from your experiment.
Yes, I think it's just about time for Miho and I to head out. By the time we get there, it'll have been a full day.
I'm ready to go if you are. You know I hate sitting around waiting.
Another thing we have in common. All right then, let's be off.
Let's be off. Let's find out what happens.
Good luck, you two. Let me know how it goes.
Will do.
Lena! This time, when we get to the Bell House, Lena isn't waiting outside.
There's always a chance she just forgot in the regular way. I should have texted her first.
Guess we'll find out.
For what feels like the 1000th time in the last few weeks, I'm shaky with nervous energy. At least there's not any risk here, and the worst case scenario, nothing changes. I take the lead and open the door for Aspen, and then follow her in. Lena behind the counter.
Hey, boss!
She looks at me.
Who's your friend?
Aww. Try to hide the disappointment from my face. Well, it was worth a shot. It's too bad, but at least I was prepared.
Miho, I'm
just messing with you.
That's mean.
I remember everything. Told you my secret technique would work. I'll call you again tonight.
It takes a second for me to process the significance of Lena's words, but once I do, I break into a grin. Aspen also looks excited, but a bit regretful too, like I could have called.
That's great news. This will be such a big help in the future, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I know she and I are both thinking the same thing. If only we'd tried this sooner. We could have talked to each other that morning before Aspen got on the bus. Then everything would have been fine. As it is, this huge life-changing moment is bittersweet. Still, it really is a big relief. With this, my future just got a lot easier. After saying goodbye to Aspen and Lena, I start walking back home. As I go, I pull out my new phone and slowly tap through the screens.
Let's see. I think it was here.
Oh. I managed to find my way to my messages and then find Juliet. I have to stop walking in order to concentrate enough to write a quick note. It worked. Since Juliet's the one who got me the phone, it just seems fitting to let her know by using it too. Alright, so we're gonna pause this here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for being here. Subscribe to help support this channel because every subscription does help. Every time. For some reason that YouTube algorithm is just like, oh yeah, let's not show this person's work at all. So, thank you for being here. Thank you for your subscription because it matters. Every number matters. I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye.